All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Have a Sunday live stream here for you guys. Going to be covering both PrizePicks and Underdog, but going to be covering them separately. I mentioned that in the last live stream. Which would you guys prefer? And you guys said you would rather me cover PrizePicks and then Underdog. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Let's go ahead and actually start out with the PrizePicks props that we have. And today is definitely going to be an interesting board, just in the sense that specifically with Underdog, they took a while to come out with like their fantasy score prop bets. And I do think there's something behind that, because we have seen that the hitting fantasy score prop bets have been a good soft spot, especially this week. Definitely have noticed the hitting fantasy scores hitting a little bit more than their expected rate recently. So I do think that's something we might want to key in on. And I will say some of these prop bets that are popping up for the PrizePicks board are ones that I don't exactly love chasing too much. Kind of the issue lately has been a lot of the projection data has been telling us one message and then everything else is telling us the other. So kind of okay ignoring that. I mentioned on the Flex Friday video that the three prop bets that were on the top of the board for PrizePicks, I was going to run out separately. And then we had like a Boston stack for the under that was going to run out. And I did end up doing that. Those two end up hitting. The only reason why I didn't love them is because the projection data was favoring the overs. And that does happen. But looking at it today, let's just jump into MLB. And so, yeah, De La Cruz, I don't know if I exactly want to be betting his under. Again, the projection data is the only outlier data point there other than the PrizePicks line that we are getting. Low scoring game at 8.3 for a total there, and they are projected to lose as well. So obviously that is stuff that does add up. So this is one where, for the most part, I would be fine betting the under. At the same time, I'm struggling with that one. Same thing with Lewis Gill, who has been so hit or miss. I don't know if I really want to be running this over fantasy score for Gill. Now, he is someone that has been really hit or miss. And so when we look at his game log, he has been terrible. I think the last 4 games, maybe even 5. Let's check. Yeah, so I guess 4 out of the past 5 games, he's been terrible. So we obviously don't like that. On the flip side of it, he is someone that when he is hot, he can really get hot. And obviously the last game against Boston was the game in which he got his over fantasy score. And this is one where I did notice the line kind of flipped a little bit today. And so that's probably coming due to really this, his pitching strikeouts that they have. They probably are expecting him to get 6 today rather than the 5.5 that the line started at. And obviously those little things do add up. And so he was someone that I was actually thinking maybe we ride the cold hand, which sounds weird to say, instead of ride the hot hand, ride the cold hand with him and bet the under. But now that it has kind of flipped today, I don't really want to be touching that one. But one of the best bets that we have today on both sites is going to be Brandon Nimmo for over his hitting fantasy score. Okay, we can see at 7 that is definitely a little bit lower of a line than it should be compared to everywhere else. The PrizePicks line, 7, Underdog line at 7.5, average projection 8.14, average sportsbook line as a whole is 7.6. So really across the board, that is seeming like it's going to be a good one. And that's actually going to be a good one on Underdog. I'll just show you guys that real quick as well. So on Underdog, that's still a very good prop bet that we are getting. And that's going to be one that we include in there. But just looking at it, guys, the Underdog board, you can already tell it's still a little bit better than this PrizePicks board that we are getting. Not terrible, but I don't know. I haven't been wanting to do a Tone for under his hitting fantasy score. I think you guys can all see why. Then we got to deal with this. We got the projection data liking Christian Walker for over his hitting fantasy score and Freddie Freeman for over his hitting fantasy score. Actually, it doesn't. Freeman's a good under bet there on PrizePicks, but it is a high scoring game, so don't exactly love that. Gunnar Henderson, again, like projection data likes the over. We can mostly ignore that because that is just a point of reference, but at the same time, don't love seeing it. Like, it's a little bit annoying there. And then we are getting some slight edges here. Dylan Cease for over his pitching fantasy score. That seems to be off by 1. Let's see what's going into that. 5.5 innings pitched. Low scoring game, is projected to win. So he could get a win and potentially a quality start. Would obviously need him to go 6, but does have a likelihood to get a win there with them favored by 1.5 runs in a low scoring game. Let's just look at where kind of the data is correlating as well. Let's just click this yes, and that'll kind of tell you everything we need to know about this slate. So it becomes a much tighter board than when we look at it that way. And that's where like Brandon Nimmo is one that stands out. So for bet of the day purposes, I would really just be fine Nimmo and Freeman for like PrizePicks bet of the day for MLB if we just want to include those. At the same time, I already have exposure to some of these other ones that I'm kind of mixing and matching in there, just as an FYI. Let's go ahead and jump into WNBA. We are kind of getting some okay bets. I wouldn't say they're great. Jackie Young for over assist, 4.5. That's fine. Mara Mabry for over her fantasy score is a good one. This is actually one where I think it was her points, rebounds, and assists on Sleeper. If you guys are someone that bets on Sleeper as well, they have their Sunday scoops going on or whatever. I think that's what it's called. But where they have 2 discounted squares. And so I did her points, rebounds, and assists paired with, I think it was, I don't know, some pitcher for their strikeouts. I did, like their line was set at 5.5. I did their pitching strikeouts at 4 just because I needed to get to that 3X because it only brought me to 2.9. So that'll make sense if you guys play Sleeper. If it doesn't, kind of just ignore that. But that is one WNBA wise that I like. Again, the projection data does still like the over. We can see the average sportsbook line would have this closer to 26.4. Another one is Cardoso. Is that how you say it? Points and rebounds, 17.5. Projected to get 20. Just 2 slight edges there. I wouldn't go crazy with these 2. Then we do have Angel Reese for over her rebounds. How many shots is she going to miss at the rim in order for her to get her rebounds? Obviously, she's been doing a lot of double-doubles. I just don't like betting on that. I don't like betting on someone missing short shots to get rebounds. It's weird. It's a whole different element compared to like college basketball and also NBA. So I don't really want to touch a prop like that. But we are getting some decent edges here. Like I might just run out a separate WNBA stack as well, just because this is where the projection data is agreeing with all the lines that we're getting here. So I really don't mind that from a PrizePicks perspective. But in terms of profits, I'll probably be running out WNBA wise as well. We'll take a peek at this one. I'm actually curious. Going against Seattle, 5 p.m. game. So she's kind of been struggling to get that over recently. Wonder if that's due to turnovers. Wonder. And let's see, what was the other one here? Let's check out this one. So she's been right there basically every game. 17 against Seattle last game. Interesting. So yeah, I'm probably going to be running out a separate MLB one instead, or a separate WNBA one instead of including that in the MLB. Ooh, they just randomly they have this board out for NBA Summer League. Just let's take a peek and see if anything pops for me. I mean, Blake Hinson went off yesterday. I don't think we want to bet on that again, though. Reese Beekman's certainly interesting, and Larson. I would say those 2 are probably the most interesting. Connect was terrible yesterday. Probably could bet his under. I mean, he was bad. Not really seeing much. Yeah, I mean, probably the unders. I mean, Bronny shot a lot, and Connect shot a lot yesterday, NBA wise, summer league wise. So if they're going to continue to shoot that much, could go with their overs, but that's probably mostly a stay away there, really. Like I said, Larson's probably the only one that I like there, and potentially Beekman, but I think I'd rather do his assist, but that's probably why we're not getting his assist line. Then let's see here, PGA wise. Let's jump into that real quick. So I've seen some interesting line movement today, PGA wise. We do have one prop line difference here for Jason Day. Let's see if he's teed off yet. I did refresh this right before the video started. But yeah, he just teed off. Okay, that's unfortunate. I was going to say that's a decent edge that we would have there. But we did see some line movement with a lot of the strokes today, which is strange. And we're not really getting edges in terms of those strokes. So Aaron Rye's line was at like 67 for the whole day, and now it's down to 66.5 on Underdog, which is interesting. Same thing with Eric Cole. Now, there's a big difference between Eric Cole and the rest of the golfers that are like 67.5. Like Eric Cole is like the one outlier here when we're looking at strokes for golfers at like 67.5. And let's just sort it by strokes. I'll show you what I mean. So I guess it's just David Thompson now for PrizePicks. They changed that. Keith Mitchell, though, on Underdog as well. Like, Cole's like the one that's not expected to play well, and so I don't mind betting the over 67.5 on PrizePicks. Aaron Rye for his over, I don't really want to touch that. He is someone that should be able to play well. He was the top ranked play in my 9 to 5 golf model, and so kind of expecting him or Davis Thompson to win. Actually, real quick, guys, golf betting wise, really fingers are crossed that one of those two win. Davis Thompson or Aaron Rye. 2 outright bets. They're kind of 2 simple outright bets for me this week, and so Davis Thompson's up by 2. And then Aaron Rye is down by 2. But the next best is Eric Cole, who's tied for second place. And then the next best after that is 2 strokes after that. So Davis Thompson has a 4-stroke lead over the rest of the field minus Eric Cole and Aaron Rye. So outright betting wise, hopefully that hits. It'd be like 25-1 and 20-1. Davis Thompson 25-1, Aaron Rye 20-1. So fingers crossed there would be kind of a bad beat if we get news, or if Eric Cole somehow steps up. I just don't expect that to happen today. But I do want to call out another thing as well with these lines. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Davis Thompson on a pick 6. You can get him on the late slate. His strokes is at 66.5. So there's a little hedging that you can do. We're betting the under on PrizePicks and then betting the over on pick 6. You can do that there. But obviously, if you're looking for some under bets, the best spot is going to be on Underdog today, where a lot of the lines are at 68. So I do want to get a slip kind of ready for you guys. So give me a second here. If you guys have any questions, get those in. Happy to answer those. Would you guys want another season-long NFL video? Because I have noticed a little bit of edges that we are getting now as well, more comparing it against sportsbooks. So I think I will be doing another one of those, maybe today, this afternoon, coming out with that. Let's see. So I think I'm going to keep it simple. Freeman for under his hitting fantasy score. And then Brandon Nemo. Going to double dip today with Brandon Nemo for over his hitting fantasy score. And then I'll jump into Underdog here, guys, in a second. All right. So I did just say what I'm going to do. Just a 2-slip bet today. You guys know I've been kind of wanting to chase more longer bets lately, but haven't really had that opportunity to as much on PrizePicks. Underdog, we've been able to do that because they've been giving us a lot of good hitting fantasy score lines where the data does correlate. Whereas PrizePicks, we haven't been able to do that. So for the bet of the day for PrizePicks, Freddie Freeman less than fantasy score. Don't exactly love that. I mean, the PrizePicks boards have just been a little bit tighter, but Brandon Nemo, we're going to run for over his hitting fantasy score. Brian Reynolds is someone we're going to attack on Underdog for his over fantasy score. So we do have a little bit of a game stack with that New York Mets Pittsburgh Pirates game, which obviously Pittsburgh went off in their last game as well. So we do have that opportunity there, but just a small 2-slip bet. And fair warning, like yesterday was a pretty darn good day. So it's kind of been annoying that the few days that I haven't done a video this week have been really good days. Just using the top bets off the 9 to 5 model. But it's been annoying for content purposes because now I'm kind of expecting today not to be as good, which is always kind of sucks on my side there. Let's see if we have any questions. Yeah, season long. Okay, I can do that, Eddie. I'd be happy to, because we were getting some edges, but not nearly as big of edges as what we had last year when I did my first season long video. But now we are getting some good ones. So Nemo already bumped. That's great. That's 7.5. I mean, that's still too low, I would say. So we're gonna jump into underdog here, but that's still too low. So we're gonna be okay. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into underdog now. That's crazy that they bumped. Which employee is watching it right now that bumped that? That's crazy and annoying. But yeah, looking at underdog today, it is a decent day MLB wise. I'll just look at where the data correlates. Again, this is just telling us where the projection data agrees with what we are getting for the PrizePicks line. And I'm seeing this right now. Let's scroll down. Average projection. So slight difference there between what this is showing right here and right here. But anyways, this is a good pitching fantasy score prop bet. I do want to echo though, this is something that I think is worthwhile to bring up. So at the beginning of the season, we did see that the pitching fantasy score was hitting a lot more frequently, a little bit more than its expected rate than the hitting fantasy scores. That is something, and now it's basically flipped. We're seeing a lot of the hitting fantasy scores hit a little bit more frequently or hit a little bit more than their expected rate. You know, on the bet of the day on Flex Friday on that video, the underdog bets went 5 for 8. 4 of the top 5 all hit though. And we have started to see that more frequently. That's my long way of saying, and that's something that we saw like this time last year start to really pick up, where the hitting fantasy scores just started to hit at way more than their expected rate. Now, I'm not expecting that to happen again, but that's my long way of saying that I don't know if I exactly want to be targeting these pitching fantasy score prop bets as frequently now, just because it does seem to be that the hitting fantasy score lines are a little bit more true. But looking at guys, yes, we do have a lot of good hitting fantasy score prop bets today. Austin Riley for over his hitting fantasy score. Wish that game was a little bit higher scoring. Brian Reynolds for over his hitting fantasy score. The only concern that I have about Brian Reynolds is that Brian Reynolds has just been feasting, I believe. And that's something that like just not sustainable. Like last game, I know he went off 44. Did have two hits in his last game and a walk. 44 in the previous game. I mean, like 2 home runs in that game and then a home run. So, yeah, he's been a little bit too hot, where it does start to worry me slightly there. But at the same time, not a terrible. Obviously, we're fine with that. We got Alex for over his hitting fantasy score. Again, all these are a little bit too low. Brandon Nemo. The line on PrizePicks probably should be 8. And so we're still getting a slight edge there. Carlos Correa for over his. So a lot of decent edges here. And honestly, this is kind of the issue with underdog lately, is that we have been getting a lot of good underdog bets to the point where it's like, all right, do we do an 8 slip bet? Do we do a 5 slip bet? Do we do a 6 slip bet? How many do we do? Yesterday wasn't around too much. I just did like 3 2 slip bets yesterday, and 2 out of the 3 hit, with 1 prop bet miss, and that ended up being a WNBA prop bet that missed. But like decent day for hitting fantasy score, guys. And even let's just look at where maybe the projection data doesn't exactly agree. We're still getting some good ones. Like we still have Freddie Freeman there, De La Cruz. I don't exactly love Gunnar Henderson, but this is a decent day for the hitting fantasy scores again. So let's see here. WNBA wise, again, we do have some decent prop bets WNBA wise. Gray for under her fantasy score, Skylar Diggins under her fantasy score, and we have a lot of under fantasy scores that you can then also maybe toss in some over fantasy scores with. Again, I'm probably going to do separate bets, keep WNBA separate from MLB today, just because of the amount of good hitting fantasy score prop bets that we're getting on underdog today. But I probably will run this out as a 3 slip bet, these 3, because these are 3 really good prop bets that we're getting on paper today. So don't mind that. And then let's just jump into a little bit of PGA as well. Yeah. I just don't feel the need to attack PGA wise today because I already had those outright bets on like Aaron. I don't want to bet against myself too much, if that makes sense. Doesn't really make sense to me. So like there's no point in me doing Aaron Rye over his strokes. That's not a logical like hedge to me. It is weird that he's the lowest amongst them. Yeah, I just don't want to touch that. But this is a good example of why I'd be so tilted if Eric Cole somehow wins. Like across the board, that we can just put Eric Cole at about 67.8 for his strokes. And so if he beats Davis Thompson and Aaron Rai today, I'll be so tilted. And that's going to be because last week I was in this exact same boat. And there was a random winner in Cameron Davis. So that'd be very tilting if that happens. But let me go ahead and load up an underdog by the day for you guys. And while I'm doing that, let's just remind you guys of the promo code that is currently going on the website, which is going to be for new members only. Or if you guys are looking to return to sign up, you can also use this. So it's 50% off your first 9 to 5 membership. And it's going to be for that first month only. Use the promo code SUMMER to get access to that. So it's going to be a $5 membership for the first month. And then after that, $10 can be valid until August 1st. And that's going to be for the first 200 people that do choose to sign up. So, pretty good promo code that's currently going on. But yes, I'm going to get that slip ready. Well, here, I got one that I already have loaded up from earlier today. This was the first bet that I made. So I'll just pull this one up for you guys. All right. So here we go. So yes, I am going to run over the pitching fantasy score that we have here. Happy to do that. But then we still have these good ones. And I can include Cody Bellinger in there if you want. Not as good of a prop bet as these other ones right now. But this was earlier. Let's see which one I could replace him with, though. Give me a second. Oh, yeah, it'd be Carlos Correa as it sits right now. So that'd be the slight difference there. So that's something I'll have to go ahead and do. The only issue that I have, though, with all these guys is that when we look at game totals, let's just use the slider here. Let's just do it up to like 9. If we were to do it to that, to where we're only getting the top scoring games, we're definitely reducing all those good prop bets that we just saw. And so, like, typically speaking, yes, we want to be targeting these over fantasy scores that are in these higher scoring games, right? That's where we want to be attacking, or vice versa, where let's just say we do under 9, and let's just do like 8.9, so we get under 9. We would want to be doing the opposite then. And that's where like pitching fantasy score, that's good. We like using that. But like these other ones, like De La Cruz, I guess that does make a little bit more sense. Lower scoring game, happy to get there then. Gunnar Henderson, lower scoring game, kind of happy to get there. But again, the projection data not exactly green. So that's why I'm not going crazy with those ones, if that makes sense. What's going on? So yeah, I'm going to be finishing up here, guys. Again, typically want these to be going about 30 minutes, but if you have any questions, get those in. I am running out a sleeper discounts. I mentioned Mabry for over her points, rebounds, and assists is one that I'm doing. And then I attached that to, I forget which pitcher it is right now, but because it wasn't at 3x, I went ahead and then, well, I forget which pitcher it was. It was like his original line was at 5.5 strikeouts, so I did 4, did that slight. It's not a good payout. Obviously, I don't like doing that. But I'm just trying to take advantage of the discount that we're getting today. And the Mabry one was definitely the best one. So that's what I'm rolling with there for the sleeper discounts as well. Let me just refresh here, seeing if we're getting any other good bets that are popping up here, guys. Nothing too much. No, I think we're pretty much good to go. Again, I will be running out those WNBA prop bets separately. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Dylan Cease over his pitching fantasy score is a good one to run out on PrizePicks as well. That is one that I'm going to be attacking a little bit as well. So I didn't want to include that, the Dylan Cease hitting or pitching fantasy score specifically, guys, because, well, I didn't want to make the 2 slip bet that I already out there into a 3 slip bet. So if you have more prop bets that you like, maybe you do want to toss in those WNBA ones, you can. Let's just take a quick peek at the discrepancies, and then I'll be getting out of here. So discrepancies wise, nothing crazy at all, actually, edge wise. So everything's pretty much good to go. Obviously, this is for both PrizePicks and Underdog. So yeah, we're going to be good to go here. So thank you guys for watching. Again, if you guys want access to the 9 to 5 tools and have never signed up, you can use the promo code SUMMER. I'll give you guys 50% off that first month. And then from there, it's going to be just $10 a month. So still not much. But that's going to be all. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck today. And as always, let's keep cashing.